Okay, here we go. Okay, so what we're doing today is talking about affirmations. And I first want to just start by saying, like, giving a little bit of a training around why affirmations work, why they don't work, and how to use them in my humble professional opinion, like how they're gonna how you can do it correctly to actually see results. So I want to start by, when you see like manifestation people and they're talking about affirmations, like affirmations can be helpful and they can rewire your brain, but they rewire your brain when you do them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So if you know anything about like a mala, like I don't know if you've ever seen like a mala like from India, but they have always have
Oh,
108 beads, always. And the reason is you're supposed to count those beads when you say your affirmations, because you're supposed to say them 108 times a day, each one, to get it to like
wow.
really sink into your brain. Right. And a lot of people don't realize that. And that's why you'll see people that are like, oh, like affirmations don't work for me. And it's like, it's not that they don't work. It's just a lot of effort to get them there. The other thing that I've seen people teach is like, okay, do these affirmations, but do them for 90 days. And sometimes you get like halfway through and you're not seeing the changes. So you just quit. Right now, if you've been doing this
Yeah.
work, especially in my world for a long time, you're going to get it very quickly because you know how this goes and it's going to go quicker. But what I want to do today is I want to teach you how to do your own set of affirmations. And we're going to give you the option to tap and not tap. Right. So when I say tapping, I mean like EFT tapping. I have my own version of that. You'll see it in this video. But the reason that we do that is because it's going to get rid of the negative and install the positive. So let's say like the affirmation is I'm a millionaire, right? That's the affirmation. So the fear might be like, okay, well, what are we tapping out? What's keeping you from being a millionaire, right? There's beliefs there, whether they're in your brain or body, they're there. So you'd want to tap that out first and then install your positive affirmation. And that's another reason why affirmations can be really sticky and not work or get really inconsistent work, because even if you say them for 30, 60, 90 days, if you're not cleaning up the fear or the judgment or resistance first, it's going to be really hard to like tap that, like out tap this fear, I guess is like a good way to say it. So what you're going to leave with today is knowing exactly how to create your own affirmations that are perfect for you and your goal. But also how to do it with tapping and not doing it with tapping. And then you can figure out which one works for
Mm.
you, because I'm all about ease and making sure that you can do this and that this is a skill that you learn. So if you're not in my world or don't have access to me, that you know how to do this consistently. So that's the spiel. Do you have any questions?
No, I think that sounds great. I've been
Okay,
journaling
amazing.
affirmations, so I'd love to know more.
Yeah. Do you just like write them down or do you speak them out loud?
I've been writing them down, trying to do it just a few minutes before bed and a few minutes in the morning,
Yeah.
and trying to do it with love. But I've learned
Yeah.
all that from you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So the other thing that I would try, see if this works. You know, everybody's
Mhm.
different, but speaking into existence is really powerful. I have played around with this over and over and over again around writing versus speaking. I think
Okay.
everybody has their own blueprint for what works for them, but I've literally seen anything I say out loud will literally manifest. And so I have to be careful, like, oh, I've been sick,
Yeah.
and then I get sick and I'm like, damn it. Kind of thing. Or like
Yeah.
a lot of times I see this with me and my clients saying, oh, I want this, but I would be happy with this. And they get exactly that. So there's something about speaking out loud. And, I hear it on in the online space. I don't know if this resonates, or I'm not even sure if I guess I believe it's true, but the reason it's called spelling is because you're like speaking things into existence. You're like spelling it into existence. You're
Mm.
casting it into
Yes.
existence, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. I was like, okay, but I do play around with it. And what I find is my affirmations, especially if I'm tapping, to speak them out loud. That's why I teach you to tap and say the things that you are, getting rid of and installing out loud, because your brain is going to be like, oh, okay, like you're hearing me. Cool. I can let this go. What do I want instead? Okay, I want this. It's something around when you speak it out loud, your brain is like, oh, okay, like you're paying attention, right?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
The other thing that if you like to write, because I'm a pen and paper girl, I write everything down. So if you like to write, a good thing to do, and you can Google this as well, as scripting. So like, for example, like
Mm.
doing this once a month, like if you do your goals monthly, so like let's say on the first of the month, you script exactly how that month is going to go. You only have to do it once.
Mm.
Like you don't have to do it every week. You can do it every week, but like literally it's like my goal is this. So I write out my goal, and then it's like scripting out like it, like I already have it. Like, this is how my day goes. This is how my business feels. And so that's more of the pen and paper side of things. And then doing these affirmations every day. So I read my goal out loud every day, and I do like my own affirmations and or tapping every day.
Sounds great.
And that's actually new. And I don't know, I'll tell you, and I don't mind to tell anybody on this call, like, or whoever sees this, is like, do you know Samantha? I think her last name's Schneider. She was in Bridget's World with us. And she has, well, it was $30 when I joined. It was a $30 membership when I
Membership?
joined. Yeah. And it's
Mhm.
manifestation, but traditional manifestation, very much like reading your goals out loud, doing affirmations. There's none of the work that we do, because I do
Right.
manifestation neuroscience, which is different. But I think it's like $50 a month now, but it might be something that you just try for a month and see. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, ooh, like, what if I layered in what I learned from traditional manifestation with the stuff that I teach?
Mm.
And I did.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you saw my post, but literally, like, I haven't been showing up consistently. I've been traveling, I've been taking time off, and I literally had like a 14K, 15K sales week and like almost 9,000 cash. And that's like barely showing up. You know what I mean? Like, all of my coaches are like, how do you do this? And I'm like, this work works. Like, you have to work it, you have to do it, but it
Yep.
works,
Yep.
So
Love it.
that was something that I did. And I even wrote that. I said I joined a $30 a month manifestation membership, and all I got was 14K in sales and 9K in cash. But then the thing went on is like, yes, this works, but like, layer it in with this deeper work and it will literally change
Hmm.
your life. And the truth is
Hmm.
like, again, like, these affirmations can change your life for sure. Like, but it's
Hmm.
going to take longer. What you could do in 90
Right.
days with just affirmations, you could do it with
Hmm.
tapping in a week.
Amazing. And I just realized when you were talking, the writing I do at night in the morning, I guess they're not affirmations. They are goals. It's the money
Okay.
goals that I'm writing out
Yeah.
as if it's happened. That's an
Yeah. But do
affirmation.
you script it like, this is how my life is going to feel? This is how my business is going to feel? It needs to feel like a journal
No,
entry.
but
Like,
I will.
yeah, like
Yes.
a dear
Yes.
diary, you have to say, I put dear universe, and it's kind of like, dear
Yeah.
universe, this is how this goes for me. I wake up at 10 o'clock without an alarm. I've got people in my inbox ready to pay. Like, I send a link. I don't have to do a sales call. They pay me. Like, you're just scripting it out like that. And
Okay.
then you layer in your affirmations and tapping on top of that, and it's going to give you this
Hmm.
very like
Nice.
holistic
Ooh,
approach. So
that's great.
I mean, her
Sounds
membership is
great.
obviously very different. I think she does like one live Q&A, and then everything else is just like pre-recorded stuff. And then right now we're doing a challenge, and it's just literally an affirmation challenge. So I don't
Gotcha.
know, try it out, because I know that you'll be like, maybe I want to join another membership. I don't know, but I just thought I'd throw that out there
Sure.
because that's what I joined. So anyways, okay, so let's dive in. And I don't know if you want to talk about your goal, because I know it's being recorded. But if you want to, because I'm curious where you're going with this, like, you have some big goals and you've been really like doing some amazing
Yeah.
things. So, because the reason I ask, and you don't have to say it
Yeah.
out loud to me if you don't
Yeah.
want to, but we want to say, this is what I want. This is where I'm at with it. And these are the reasons why I don't have it yet, or why I can't have it. And we're going to flip them.
Okay. Well, last week we talked about a very, very large goal, so I'll
Yes,
just
we
go with that.
did. Okay. Yes, we did. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. Where are you at with that? I'm curious. Like, how are things been going? Like, I screenshotted your account the other day to like use this, like, so not like I'm gonna crop you out of it, but it's like, the fact that you had like
Yeah,
900 comments or 1,500 comments or something, like, it was
I know.
blowing my mind. I was like, what
Yeah.
is happening on her
Very.
Instagram right now?
Yeah. Last January, I had 35,000 followers. Now I have 265,000.
Hold on, I gotta write this down. Like, this is like wild. Okay, so last January you had 35,000, and now you have how
Followers.
much?
265,000.
You did that in a year? No, no.
No,
Like,
less, 6 or 7 months.
oh my gosh. I'm like, what month is it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is wild.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, I mean, I know like this work has contributed, but is there other
Well,
things that you feel like have contributed?
remember, okay, so you always explain to me when your brain is ready and feels safe, you will be open to new things, or you'll have new insights. So I joined Abigail's Reels challenge, and
Right,
she was doing Reels in a different way than but I could have joined her challenge months before that. I bought
right,
her other stuff, but for some reason I didn't feel I needed it. So, anyways,
right.
that, yeah, that was that was a big part of that, the beginning of that. Oh my God, that just immediately things just changed because there are things the algorithm likes. And I was just doing talking head videos only and doing okay. But this took it to a new level.
Right.
And what else? I still feel like I've made shifts and changes with you even since then.
Yeah.
So that's big too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an important point is like when people ask me like about strategy versus like this work, it's like you need both. I'm
Hmm.
not going to tell people they don't need a strategy. That's not the point.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the
No, you
strategy like
do.
you were, you're doing the strategy, you're being
Yes.
consistent like you were,
Yes.
but you're like, I'm not seeing results or results that I want. Right.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, it's because this is the missing piece. And then you do the same strategy, but you show up in that strategy different. And then you get these inspired ideas. Well, what if
Yes.
I did this? Or what if I said it this way? Or
Yes.
what if I had this angle? Or what if I just showed up and said what I really want to say? Like, it's
Yes.
just literally like I actually wrote content about this earlier, literally reality creation from the standpoint, and not the woo-woo kind, the actual like
Hmm.
we work on this belief and the thoughts and the emotions and sensations that go along with it. And then you show up in that
Hmm.
way because you're showing up
Yeah.
and you're being that person. And then all of a sudden it becomes your reality and you're like, what the what? Like it can be
Yeah.
that simple. And it's like, yes, like I saw
Yeah.
this actually, I think it was I'm not going to say who it was. I saw a 7-figure business mentor the other day, and she was like, "How I got to 7 figures or multiple seven, whatever she is." And she was, and one of the things she said is, she's like, "I didn't do affirmations. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't become the person." And I thought to myself, maybe she didn't become the person like intentionally, but I guarantee you, there's no
Hmm.
way that you run that kind of a business and not become that person along the way. And I thought
Yeah.
that, and I was like, "There's no way. Your reality just
Yeah.
wouldn't match it because of who you're being." That's like
Yeah.
saying, oh, well, I lost all this weight without actually like exercising and taking care of my body. And it's like, no, you have to
Yeah.
like become the person. So I thought that was interesting. I know what her point is
Hmm.
because when we
Yeah.
market, we're marketing specifically speaking to the person that for that specific offer, and that offer was about strategy. But it was just
Right.
interesting. I was like, there's no way. Like intentionally,
I
I get what
know.
she's saying, but there's just no way. And this is really what that is like when you have your
Hmm.
thoughts and how
Hmm.
you feel in your body, then you show up in that way, and then everything just kind of
Hmm.
meets you there.
Well, honestly, Farron, like I know I've changed. I know there's even more. I was already a confident person, but there's more confidence. There's less fears. There's less insecurities. There's more reassurance. And that's where it becomes more normal and easy.
Yep. And that's
Like
something that we've
there
worked on
has
so
been.
much is like just feeling like it's natural and normal, right? Like
Yeah.
if whatever you want doesn't feel natural and normal, there's a reason for it. And you can
Hmm.
hack that and be like, okay. So I would start there. Like if there's a fear or it doesn't feel natural and normal, those are like the two big ones I start with. So I love that you
Okay.
like know that, like that's the one thing that you've really taken away is like, this doesn't feel natural and normal. And I'm like, okay, but we'll make it feel natural and normal. Don't worry. Okay. So all I want you to do is I want you to write down on a piece of paper. I want you to write out your goal, right? So write it
Okay.
out. And then underneath it, I just want you to write all the reasons your brain is telling you, I can't have this. This is not for me. And I'm just going to like be quiet while you do that. Grab my water.
Okay.
Okay, amazing. Do you feel okay to like talk about like these? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Should I quickly read it? It's not long. Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, read it
Tell
and then
me.
we'll go to the top and I'll help you flip them. But just read it so I
Okay.
kind of have like a baseline. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. it's too much. It makes me feel vulnerable. It makes me feel like I can't tell people how much it will be. They'll judge me. They'll reject me. I will get so big, like known. And then I'll be seen even more. That's scary.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we have some topics for your one-to-one. Okay. All right. So this is going to be another thing. And like, this is always at your discretion. Like I teach people what works for them. A lot of people that will teach manifestation, they'll say, it doesn't really matter when you flip it, it resonates. And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. But for me, when it resonates with you, that is like your body and the universe kind of winking at you and being like, yeah, it's that, because with the work that we've done, how you say things and how you articulate it matters. And a really good example of this is like in the English language, we use deserving and worthy interchangeably, but to our brain and body, they are very different things. People will come to me and so their brain and body will say, oh, I'm worthy, but I'm not deserving, or the other way around. And so that's why I always tell people, like, when you're doing this work, feel into how it feels. Trust your intuition on what feels right. Because if an affirmation kind of feels off, like, let's say, like, you're reading an affirmation and your brain's like, this is bullshit, like, that's not the best. Like, some of them, okay, let me back up. Some of them will be that's bullshit because they're so big. It's going to be like, ugh, and that's okay. But sometimes it's going to just be because it's just not quite the right verbiage. Now, if you are new to my world or like, new in manifestation and that's too overwhelming or too hard, then go with the very simple thing. Like, don't get caught in your head. But if you're kind of like, next level, you've been doing this work for a while, you're like, okay, I can make it more personalized, then do that, okay, well, I'm going to show you an example. So go up to the first one, say it out loud, and then give me what would be the opposite, the flip.
So I wrote it's too much. So I guess the opposite would be it's just right. It's enough.
Yeah. How does that feel?
I don't know. I'm literally like,
okay, that's okay.
So obviously,
so I'm going to offer something, and guys, like, let me be very clear. Like, what I'm offering her, it may not land for her. We're going to see, but the reason I'm offering it is because I've worked with her for a long time and I know her stories and I know her business. And like, so I'm going to be, because I think it's something to do with this. So I'm going to offer that to you, but this is what I want to show you. And so this is the pivotal moment of, if you're new and you're going to get too much in your head, then go with it's just enough. It's perfect. Like, just don't get in your head about it. But if you're like, no, it seems to be something else, then I feel like for you, it's more about capacity. It's like, I have the capacity for it. And say them out loud and be like, which one feels right?
Okay. It's just right. Yeah, I like that. I have a capacity.
Yeah. And it might be a blend. It might be, it's just right. I have the capacity for this.
Yeah, I think I was more using logic when I was doing the it's just right, because it actually doesn't really resonate.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, this is definitely next level. This is like manifestation affirmations 2.0, because literally you're just introduced to manifestation affirmations. We would just be like, flip it. Don't get too much in your head about it. But because I've worked with you for so long, I'm like, I can have you do the next level of it. And this is also going to speed up your manifestations because you're saying something and tapping in something that actually resonates versus it being a little bit off. Now, again, as you say it, we can install whatever belief we want, even if it doesn't resonate or even if it's not conducive or good or whatever. But the path of least resistance is what resonates. That's why I'm teaching you this, because it's the path of least resistance.
Sounds great.
Okay, cool. All right. What's the next one?
Makes me feel vulnerable.
Makes me feel vulnerable. Okay. What is the opposite of that?
Safe and reassured, just safe and grounded.
Yeah. And that's very true, because like the more, like, I know your big goal, your goal is big. And it's like, of course I'm going to feel more safe when I have that. I can hire mentors to support me. I can, hire a team. I can, I can get back to my community. Like, I can do all these things. Of course I'm going to feel more supported and safe. Right. But the other thing that I think is really important here too, that I'm going to say, and again, like, I always question, like, because I feel like my trainings get so advanced at times that people are like, it kind of like short circuits, but if flipping it to the opposite, because for me, it doesn't really resonate for that reason. But another good thing that you can ask yourself is, what do I want to believe instead? That might, so try it
Mm.
with that, because if you flip it to the opposite, it is going to be very mental, brainy, like what's the opposite of this?
Okay.
But it's
What do
like,
I want? Yeah.
okay, what do I want to believe instead? I think that's better. To me,
Okay.
that resonates more. But again, you do what works for
Hmm.
you. So why don't you,
No,
for this next one, why don't you try both and see which one works for you
sure.
better? Yeah.
Okay. So the next one was makes me feel like I can't tell people.
It makes me feel like I can't help people.
No, tell people.
Oh, right. Tell people. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's this big goal. And you're like, I don't, people are going to judge me. Maybe like it's going to cause some, because her goal is really big.
Yes.
So I think like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Total
of like,
judgment.
yeah. Okay. So what do you want to
So
believe
what do I
instead?
want to believe? Um, that I can handle that judgment,
Yeah.
that I'm okay, that I'm good enough. That doesn't matter. I don't
Yeah.
know how to word that.
Yeah. So is it that, or is it that maybe it's like, well, people don't even judge me?
Oh, I
I
guess
mean,
I don't even know if that's
it can be both. Like it's not. So I would have went with that too, like what you said first.
oh,
I would have went with like, well, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. But also, what if we
right.
just change the belief that people would do it, and then we just wouldn't even have to worry about it? So just see. Who knows? We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
no, I actually love that, Farron, but it really
Yeah.
wasn't even on my radar. Like, what an
I know.
assumption.
Right. I know. Aren't our brains like so cute? They just tell us so many stories about what's available for us. And then we're like, oh, that's not
And
true. What?
you know what? That's a deep one because it even makes me feel a little emotional about realizing that's possible.
Right? Like a world where that's possible. Isn't that
Yeah,
beautiful? Because the truth
yeah.
is, you get to choose what you believe. That's the truth.
Hmm.
And the other truth here is that if you focus on that, which I have a feeling that's going to be the thing you're going to focus on for like the next week or however long you want to do this, but
Hmm.
if if you focus on that, by installing that belief, the likelihood of if somebody does judge you and you're just going to be like, I don't care, will be more, because you've shifted your belief. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, people don't judge me. And that's I'm not going to say that's like 100%, because there are weird things that happen, but I feel like it probably will shift that too, because a lot of times our beliefs are actually like intertwined with other ones. And when we shift one,
sure.
the other ones shift too. So just
Yes,
something, but that
yes.
would be something to watch out for, is like, okay, but if somebody does judge me, am I mentally prepared for that? Because that's a big thing too, giving your brain a plan for when things go awry, because
Right, right.
being a business ownership like gets crazy. I have been through, like, I feel like I'm probably going to talk about some of the crazy stuff I've been through lately, because I feel like I went back and forth about it. I was like, I don't know if I want people to know this, not because it's any bad reflection of me, but some of my clients. And I'm just like, and obviously they're not clients anymore. And I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm like, no, like people need to understand behind the curtain that business can be hard, and that we can do hard
Hmm.
things, and we can deal with things, like we can deal with hard things, because I want to be more transparent. I don't want, like, because I talk about it being so easeful, and guys, like, yes, of course, it can be easeful, but that's different than easy. And I would be lying to you if I said, if you're going to have a big business that makes 20, 30, 40, 50K months or more, like the likelihood that things are going to be a little wonky is going to happen. So we have to prepare for that too. And your brain needs to understand that, oh, if and when this happens, I have a plan. I know how to navigate it. That will help you as well. So that's just my spill on that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Well, the next one overlaps. They'll judge me, they'll reject me. That was the same. Oh, maybe
Okay,
the
so now
reject
we get to
part.
have both, right? So now we get to have both. Is like it can be, they won't judge me. I'll be accepted, or it could be
Hmm.
like
Maybe
they
they'll love
won't,
me.
maybe they'll love me, or the right people are going to find me, pay me, and love me. You know what I mean? Like it just, what do you want to
Yeah.
believe instead? That's really what it boils
Well,
down to.
and for me, I think it's meaning more like the people in my life, the friends and family rejecting me.
Okay, good to notice that
Hmm.
differentiation. Okay, so
Hmm.
like when one of my affirmations, it was like, the more money I make, the more people love me. And the more money I make, the better, like the better I am, the more I can give back, the
Mm.
more I do. And I mean, obviously that's not yours, but I do have affirmations like that to remind myself, like, I'm a good
Hmm.
person. And the more money I have, the more I'm going to be able to show up and give more and have lower ticket offers and be
Totally.
able to like
Yes.
give more people access to this work. And I have to remind myself of that stuff too, right? But I just want to be transparent about people, judgment will always happen. Like I feel like for the most part, my friends and family are pretty supportive. I think they think I'm crazy, but they're pretty supportive, at least to my face. Like, I don't know. They could be like talking shit behind my back. I don't know. But there's still like, I think for me, there was like a point. I'll give you a good example, like, because you've been in my world and you've been with me through the Dominican and Colombia. And I think I shared with this with you guys when I lived in Colombia. I had this thing about making a lot of money because Colombians are just so poor. Like
Yeah.
Dominicans are poor too, but it's different. It is like they're living their best life on an island and they could care less kind of thing. Like, I mean, yes, their life is hard, but they're just like these really happy people. And then you pull the curtain back in Medellin specifically because it's a city and you see how much they work and how hard they work. And they still like the cab driver, like a friend of mine went and did like a like a YouTube series of like the people of everyday Medellin that like work and like he went to this cab, like I get teary eyed talking about this. He went to his house and he literally didn't had dirt floors and
Mm.
literally like couldn't even afford a refrigerator. And I about lost it because I'm in Colombia in this nice penthouse, like making all this money, and it really screwed with me. It screwed with my business because I felt so much guilt around
Right.
that. And I had to remind
Yes.
myself over and over, like, just because I have more money doesn't mean that he has less. And when I have more money and I can be better to myself nutritionally, I can hire support, I can regulate my nervous system, and then I can show up and give back to that community. If I was still in Colombia, I
Mm.
would be more active in the local community. And I have to remind myself
Yes.
that over and over again.
Yes. That people with lots of money can make such huge changes in the world, like
Yeah.
beautiful, wonderful
And that gets to
changes.
be our identity instead of that false
Hmm.
belief around people with money are bad or people with money are judged or whatever. That
Yes.
gets to be our identity moving forward. And it's a deep one. Like it's something that you have to work on. But I always
Yes.
like to share my experience because I feel like storytelling really helps like ground it in of like what I'm trying to say.
Totally. Yes. I
Yeah.
love that.
Okay. All right. What is the next one? Sorry, I just dropped my
Um,
lid on the
that
floor. Sorry about that. Here, I'm back.
if I if I if I meet that huge goal, that means I'm going to get bigger and more known, which means I'll be seen even more, which scares me a little, even though it's not based on
Yeah.
logic. And
Yeah.
then,
And
yeah,
that's
so it's
okay.
kind of like a cycle of getting scarier.
So, right, I know. Okay, so what do you want to believe? So, this is a really good one that I would believe. Like, what do you want to believe instead of the opposite? Because those deeper
Yeah.
ones, you really do need to be like, well, what do I want instead? Because the opposite
Yeah.
could just be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I'm seen. And it's like, maybe it doesn't, but like, is there something that you want
Yeah.
instead of that?
Well, I'd love to believe that I'm just open and like, yeah, bring it on, like to the getting bigger and getting more seen and
Yeah.
starting like a baby moves movement or something. I'd love to actually just feel like that
I
excitement.
love that. I love that. Okay, perfect. So, like, for anybody watching this, like, I think it's important, like, how she said, like, she kind of like went on this, longer thing. So, when you're doing affirmations, it's really important to keep them like really short to the point. But what's great about this is we call this an anchor. So, we can actually come up with like a one liner for Heather, but it'll actually anchor into everything else that she just said. So, it's like, okay, I am open and confident that I can handle it. And basically that is like the umbrella for what's underneath it is I'm going to start a movement. If I'm more confident, I'm going to start a movement. Do you see how that works? We call this
Hmm.
an anchor in an LP. It's like we anchor certain words or certain phrases into other things too. So when we shift one, they all kind of shift. So yeah, just a little caveat there. I'm spilling all my secrets today.
That's great. And I think, oh, yeah, that was the last one, just that that would feel
Cool.
scary.
And I
Yeah.
love this because you're going to have like some time to work on this on your own in between when we do our one-to-one. So you can actually see how it feels and what shifts. That's going to be really fun to be like, oh, like what was
Yeah.
working. And of course you get to decide when you want to do your one-to-one, but it is going to be cool to be like, these were the things I thought I wanted to work on. What shifted from doing
Right.
this work? Yeah.
Fun.
Okay,
Fun.
cool. All right. So, what I want to do, so normally I would go through these individually and tap them out, but I just want to be mindful of the time and I'm also not feeling great. So, what I'm going to do, because Heather is like a ninja at this, she's literally been in my world doing this work for so long, like she knows the deal. But I'm just saying this caveat of like, if you're just getting started and you don't know how to do this and you haven't watched my tapping training, like I would go through each and every one and tap out the negative belief of it.
Okay.
to get rid of it. But for you, I know that all of those are kind of interwoven and they
Mhm.
all together. And guys, like if you've never done my tapping either, like you can also just do it this way, see what works for you. But I think if I was starting out, to get the hang of it, I go through each and every one. But because for you, they're all related, we can collectively work on them together. So collectively, when you feel all of this in your body, where do you feel it?
Okay, let me just think about that for a sec. Embrace
Yeah.
those. Yeah, I feel it in my stomach. Yeah, it's a deep,
Yeah.
that big, scary, being seen way too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And another caveat here too is that I think, and when I work with people one to one, sometimes I do this in the membership, but I work with people one to one. I always have them associated with a color. And the reason I do that is to kind of disassociate a little bit from like the story attached to it, but also to know if you're doing it right. Now, every once in a while, I'll have somebody that's like, I don't resonate with the color thing. It doesn't work for me. Then don't do it. Fine. But if you can, I would do it. So if you like feel into that uncomfortable sensation in your body. And guys, again, this is not emotion. Emotion is attached to sensations, but if you really want to clear it, like at the root, at the core thing in your body, like you want to do it from sensations if you can. If you cannot, there are some people that really have a hard time feeling sensations for whatever reason. Maybe they've had trauma or they've got, I don't want to get into all of the reasons why. If you can't, if you really struggle with it, then work with emotion. That's the next best thing. So here's the hierarchy. Always start with sensations. If you can't, get into a sensation, go into emotion. If you can't like tap into the emotion, you can't feel it, then go into the belief. That would be the hierarchy of how I would work with those things. But if you shift the sensation, everything else shifts. So that's why I work that way. And like also just like a side note of this, like the reason that I do this, I'm just going to tell a really quick story because I think it's important for people to know why I do this and why I work with sensations. So I just had a one-to-one with a client, and it's so funny. He came to me and he was like, I know what the problem is. I know what the belief is. And I was like, no, you don't, because if you did, it wouldn't be as big of a problem anymore. And it was a big problem. Like he went from making a lot of money to be like, oh, like, and it was our first call together. And so it was so funny. So a lot of times I have people tune into the sensation, and then I have them, like, obviously I have my own process of how I do this, but I have them tune into the sensation, and then I have them track back to where that neural network was created and that belief that it was created. And so what happens is I see it all the time. People will pop into their brain and they'll try to logically make sense of it. They'll be like, okay, like it's this belief, it's this story, it's this thing. And because it was so closely related to what the story he was telling me was, I knew it wasn't the right one. And also I could see that he was trying to logically tie it to money. Guys, let me be very clear. The deep root shit is very rarely has to actually do with money. It's just your brain misunderstood something and it somehow attached it to money. But that's the work that we do. So anyways, we go back and like, he's like stopping at 12 and then he goes back to another memory before that. And I just intuitively was like, nope, there's something deeper. Keep going, keep going. And then we get there when he's young and something happened and it had nothing to do with money. It had something to do with his dad that was completely in left field. And the look on his face was just like, what? Like I would have never in a million years. And he's done a lot of work on himself and a lot of manifestation work. And he's like, how are these related? But it's somatically, right? It's how and that's why I work somatically, because if you work emotionally or you work with thoughts, you're always going to go to a memory that logically makes sense of why it's attached and you won't get to the root. So just a quick story on why I do that.
That's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, right. And he was just blown away. He was like, what the freak kind of magic do you do? And then of course he was like feeling so much better. He like already texted me and was like, oh my gosh, my business is going so much better. And I was like, yeah, because that's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to tap this out. And so if you don't have my tapping training, buy it. It's like $30, I think. And it's like so worth it. And but we're going to go through this with Heather. And I'm just going to give a quick thing of like how we do it. So we tap out the negative. So this sensation that she's dealing with, this color. What color did you say it was? I don't even know if I let you tell me. I think I just like.
So you mean the color to go with the bad stomach feeling?
Yeah, the sensation. Like if the sensation had a color, what would it be?
Yeah, just, ugly, muddy, slimy, greeny, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Like, ooh. Yeah, and it probably will. Like, not everybody's, like his was orange. Like, it's not always dark and sludgy, but it is a lot of the time. Right. So, okay. So we're gonna tap, and I'm just gonna show you my points again. I know you know them, but like my points are here, 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 here. A lot of people do the collarbone. You can do that if you want, but there's like 2 spots underneath the collarbone that you can kind of tap on. We call it the sore spot. For me, this is just like a supercharged spot. Sometimes I'll do this, but the truth is that I don't really do any of them any one way. Like I just stay, like, people would be like, how long should I stay in one spot, or how hard should I do it? Should I do it with both hands? It doesn't matter. This is also a a training and an invitation to start trusting that you know what you need. Because if you always look to me or another mentor or another coach to tell you what you need, that's just creating dependency on us. So that's why at all of my containers, I'm very like, I think it kind of like pisses people off because like, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, I would, but in the high, like in your interest, I don't want to create that dependency on me. So, anyways, that's what we're going to tap on. But Heather knows the deal. She knows that if I'm doing this with her and she needs to stay in this spot, she will. Okay. And a really good way to do this is like, just say the things out loud, right? So it's like, I have this fear. I'm fearing this. This is going to happen. And I'm ready to let it go, let it go, let it go. Peace. And you literally do that until that color is gone, until it's a 0, until it's like, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you feel it? And then from neutral, because 0 is neutral, we install the positive. And then those installations of the positive become your affirmations. And that's what you say. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tap with you because I know I'm the one that's on camera.
Yeah.
But if you need to mute me,
I will.
and you need to,
Or,
say your own things, you do that. Sorry, I have to.
I'll mute myself and I'll just follow. Yeah. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. But I'm just saying because yeah, that's fine. Hold on. I gotta write down your things again. I didn't write them down. Being seen. Sorry. So like,
Yeah,
being
yeah. Okay,
seen.
so where am I here?
Sorry, I didn't think about
No,
this.
no, that's okay. It's too much. It
It's too
makes me
much.
feel vulnerable.
Makes me feel vulnerable. Man, I am not a good speller. Okay.
Makes me feel like I can't tell anyone because of fear, judgment, rejection.
I'm gonna actually put those as 2 different things. Like that's how I would
Sure.
tap on them. I would be like, I can't tell anyone, and that's a fear of judgment. And what'd you say?
Right. Rejection.
And rejection. Okay.
Yeah, I had them separate too.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I was
and then what comes is, well, then I'll get too big and then I'll be seen even more, which is scary.
yeah. And so when I'm tapping, like, because like it's like, oh, because these are a little wordy, it's like, oh, if I get too big, then I'll be seen anymore. I would just leave it as like, I don't want to feel seen. That feels scary. Just to make
Yeah.
it very, very direct to the point.
Yes.
Because guys, if they're too wordy, your brain's going to get confused. You just need it to be very direct, simple, 5-year-old language. Like sometimes, like if you need to have a big word in there, it's fine. But these long sentences or compound sentences, try not to do that. It makes it just, I don't know why, it just makes it more like harder for you to tap it out. So I'm just going to write fear of being seen. Okay. And what was the last one?
Fear that I'll get really big and
yeah.
again be seen more, and that's scary. That actually feels scary.
And I'm just going to put it feels scary.
Yeah.
And so just for everybody like watching, I'm just going to repeat what I have written down and what I'm going to have like, if I was doing this with you, this is what I'd have you tap. Like if you were new to this and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to tap with you, it would be like, it's too much. I'd probably say too much / overwhelm. Just only because I know Heather and I know that's probably a part of it. And most of the times, if you have the feeling of it's too much, it's a feeling of like, oh, that's too much, you have to find again the verbiage for you. And then I have like vulnerability, I can't tell anybody, fear of rejection and judgment, fear of being seen, and it feels scary. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll mute myself, but I'll be able to talk out loud then too.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. I'm just going to go through it and like, give a little demo. Just let me know when you're done. Okay. And if you need my help, let me know. I'm happy to help you. Okay.
Well, I can just copy you, couldn't I, for the first time?
Oh yeah, you can copy. Yeah, of course.
I'll just
okay.
We'll do that for the first time. Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm a little bit sick and like kind of on cough medicine. So or not cough medicine, but I don't know, allergy medicine. So I feel a little loopy. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. All right, let's do it. So I'm just going to do all these in one pass. But again, like I would try to do them individually if that feels right. But, whatever. So it might look like if I hit my goal and I have high cash months, it just feels like it's too much. That feels so far away because it feels really overwhelming. Like that would just be a lot. That would be a lot to hold. It would be a lot in my nervous system. And that scares me a little bit. And even though I feel this way, I'm so ready to see it different. I'm so ready to let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Peace. The other thing is like when you yawn, that is a good thing. That means we're at least sometimes I yawn because maybe that resonated with me, but sometimes I yawn when my clients yawn. Like I'm actually feeling their process. Like I actually do this a lot. So you want those shifts, right? You want yawns, you want maybe tears come, whatever comes, any sort of physical response, that means that energy is moving. Okay, so we're gonna keep doing this until it's zero, right? All right, so sorry, my paper fell on the floor. Here we go. Okay, if I have these high cash months, if I meet my goal, I'm really going to be seen. And being seen makes me way more vulnerable. And that scares me. Like, what if people judge me? What if people say mean things about me? What if people misunderstand me and think I'm doing something wrong or ripping people off? That will feel terrible. And even though I feel this way, I'm ready to see it different. I'm ready to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Peace. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to go again. If I hit my goal and have big cash months, people are going to judge me. Oh my gosh, what if people reject me? What if the people that I love reject me? Like, oh my gosh, this feels so scary and so overwhelming. I don't know that I'm ready for high cash months. I don't know if I'm ready to hit my goal. And even though I feel this way, even though I feel scared, I know it's just here to protect me. And I'm so ready to let it go. I'm so ready to see it differently. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Peace. Woo, I feel like that was a big one. That made me like shake. Maybe these are some of mine too. I don't know. Okay, we have a few more. We're going to do a few more rounds. Do as many rounds as you need to make it zero. We like don't feel it anymore. Okay, if I hit my goal and I have these big cash months, people are going to see me. That means I have to be seen by more people for more people to buy. And that really scares me because the more people see me, the more they can judge me, the more that they can tell me I'm doing it wrong. And that really scares me. And even though I feel this way, I'm ready to see it differently. I'm ready to let it go because the truth is, I trust myself to handle these things. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Peace. All right, one more pass. If I hit this big cash month and I hit my goal, I'm going to be seen. And that feels so scary. The truth is, I am scared. I'm scared of high cash months. I'm scared of being seen more, but really, I'm also just scared of my power. Stepping fully into my power scares me a little bit, and that's okay. I'm human. I get to experience that. And even though I feel scared, even though I'm worried about being seen, even though I feel like it's going to be too much, I know all of this is just here to protect me. And I'm so ready to let it go. I'm so ready to see it differently. I'm so ready to experience what I want with ease. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Peace. Woo. Okay, how are you feeling? Is that like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like, yeah, that like gross color is here? Where are you at? 1, 0 being like nothing.
Okay, let me just feel. It's definitely improved. I feel a little vibraty and I feel open. I don't even know.
Okay.
Look at me. I don't even know.
Do
I'd
you
have to
feel
really get
it?
into the negative feeling again to tell if I'm so obviously something shifted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. Sometimes I see people being like, they're like afraid to feel the negative feeling again. And the truth is like it's okay, like eventually the negative feeling is just going to be gone. But another reason could be is that she needs to do this on her own with her own words and her own thing. Like maybe what I'm saying isn't resonating with her, and that's okay. Like that happens. And that's why when you watch like tapping online for certain things, like maybe you're doing tapping for confidence and it doesn't resonate with what they're saying because you're like, that's not me, I don't feel that way, it won't click the same way. That's why I teach you to do it your way. So again, I know that you know how to do this, so you can do this on your own again to like make sure it's gone. But now what we're going to do, because it's shifted, as long as it's shifted,
Yes.
then we can start installing the positive. Okay. So what do you want instead? So I'm just going to go through these, and maybe
Yeah.
if you feel okay, because we're not doing the points, maybe you could just say yours out loud. Is that okay? Because you know what you
Sure.
want to feel.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I can remember them,
So
but yes.
yeah, and if not, that's okay too. Like just maybe have your
Okay.
paper there. But I think it really is like it's safe for me to be seen. What if
Yes.
people don't judge me? What if I'm just meet my goal? Actually, you know, let's just do it. In between
Okay.
the, I'm going to do it with you. In between the
Okay.
ring and the pinky finger, there's this hollow
Yeah.
spot. You just want to tap on that. For new people, or if you still have some like crud left over from the first part, it might take you like 90 seconds. But when you get really good at this, like mine install in like sometimes 10 seconds, 10 to 30 seconds. So we keep going until there's a physiological response. Again, we're looking for a yawn, a stretch, tears, maybe. I have clients that laugh and giggle and sneeze, like whatever happens, just trust that your body does it its way, right? All right. So what if I hit my goal and nobody judges me? What if I hit my goal and actually people love me more? What if I have big cash months and all this money and I'm just totally safe with it? And I'm actually feel more safe. I feel more secure. I feel more secure in my confidence and in my business. And I can show up in my family and participate and just do more, give back to my community. It is safe for me to be seen. It is safe for me to have high cash months. What if I could tell everybody and everybody would be so happy for me and so excited for me because I'm surrounded myself with people that truly just want me to be happy and celebrate me? What if that fear of being seen isn't even a thing? What if I actually like being seen? What if being seen feels good because I feel like I can actually help people with what I'm selling, helping people? Like, what if being seen equals me helping people? What if it didn't feel scary? What if I just feel confident and show up and sell what I have because I know what I have to offer is life changing and I feel good with that and I'm not even worried about like being judged? What if the more I sell, the more money I make, the less judged I am? What if I just get everything I want? What if it didn't feel overwhelming, but instead it felt just right? It felt supportive. It made me feel safe. What if I had the capacity to hold it all? And then we're going to switch from what if to just I have the capacity to hold a big business. It's safe for me to have high cash months. People love me and support me. And the more money I make, the more supported I am. That did it for me. Where are you at? Yeah.
I just feel so good.
Yeah. Right. So now,
I
again,
think
with
we,
the, sorry, what?
oh no.
No, it's okay. So now with the anchor, so now because we've anchored this in with this, you could actually just do the affirmations. But if you want to
Mm.
supercharge it, then just tap. Don't do the negative part, just tap the positive part. That's what an affirmation is,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Affirmation's
okay.
the positive thing. So then you could, if you want to say it with the tapping, it's going to supercharge it. But because we've anchored it in already, you could just say the positive affirmations. So for her, the positive affirmations are the things that we talked about. So I have the capacity, it's just right. You know, what are some of the other ones?
Um, I'm confident I can start a movement. I can be seen. I can be big. I can do wonderful things in this world.
Yep.
People, yeah, what if no one judges me and they love me more?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I can make,
literally,
yeah.
like all like I have mine on my phone. Like I love having paper, so some people print these out, but I just know myself like it because it's dark, like so I just won't read it, so I have mine on my phone, and when I wake up or before I go to bed, because that's when your mind is most susceptible, I read them out loud. But if printing it out on paper works for you, then do that, but literally do this for a week, and then if you're
Okay.
feeling really good about it, then keep going, but like just check in with yourself. How do I feel about these beliefs? See how long it takes you to shift
Mhm.
them just from doing this work.
Sounds so good. I'm excited.
So now do you have like a clear path forward on like the difference between like how I do affirmations and how you can come up with your own affirmations that really land for you and are going to help shift those beliefs and rewire your brain?
Totally, totally.
Amazing.
And
I am
you're
so
saying I could
excited
do
for
this
you.
with any goal, right?
Anything. This is just changing your beliefs, right? So
Hmm.
anything that you have a negative belief around, like people judge people with money, or people are going to judge me, or like if people, like, I know that you're married, but like if people are dating and they have like limiting beliefs around dating's hard, dating is so easy, the right guys just find me like in coffee shops, like you can literally install anything. Like I have manifested some crazy stuff, like from money to guys literally saying the exact same thing to me that I actually put in my affirmation. Like it's wild the stuff that I have manifested from this. And not to sound like woo woo, I am very woo woo, but I'm also very scientific. And you can
Yep.
literally use this for anything. It's that powerful. You just gotta like it. I always say like the work works. You just gotta work it. I mean, you have to do it. You can't just like do it wishy washy and then be like, oh, it didn't work. And it's like, well, did you do it every day? Did you prioritize yourself for 5 minutes to take time to do this? And honestly,
Hmm.
this takes less than 5 minutes. It takes like probably 90 seconds, maybe 60 seconds if you just
Yeah.
do it, right?
Yeah.
And so if there ever is resistance, a good question to ask yourself is, what do I fear would happen if I got everything I wanted? Right?
Right.
Because if you're ever feeling resistancy, it's because there's a fear there. The fear of what's coming on the other side, whether it's the money or the power or the visibility. So if you feel resistance around doing something that's so simple that I'm literally like, here, do this for 60 to 90 seconds a day, and you can't even do that, which I do it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like, sometimes I have to catch myself like, Aaron, what are you doing? Like, what do you fear? Like, what's going on? It's like, oh, okay, fine. And I like coach myself out of it. But if you're feeling resistance, ask yourself that question. It'll change everything. You'll start getting really clear on what you're
Hmm.
really afraid of.
Yes. Yes. You've taught me that. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I hope this was helpful. I will DM you with your link to book your session, and we'll talk again. But I just want to
Okay.
say thank you so much for like showing up
Yeah.
on this call and helping me demo this. I so appreciate it.
Love it. Thank you, Farron.
You're welcome. All right. Talk soon. Bye.
Okay. Talk soon. Bye.